Story. Heer Ranjha Love Story. Section 1. The Meeting of Souls. In the fertile plains of Punjab, where the Chenab River flows gently and the fields bloom with mustard flowers, there lived a young man named Ranjha. He was the youngest son of a wealthy landlord in the village of Takht Hazara. Unlike his elder brothers, who worked hard in the fields, Ranjha was different. He loved music more than labor, peace more than power. With his flute always by his side, he spent hours by the riverbanks, playing melodies so soulful that birds stopped singing to listen, and even the breeze seemed to pause. This love for music, however, was not admired by his family. His brothers mocked him, calling him lazy and irresponsible. "While we toil under the burning sun, you wander with that flute of yours," they would taunt. Their envy grew bitter, and soon, Ranjha's place in his own home became unbearable. Tired of constant humiliation and hurt by his family's lack of understanding, Ranjha made a life-changing decision. He left behind his home, wealth and comfort, carrying nothing but his flute and his broken heart. Ranjha wandered for days, his feet weary, his spirit heavy. Eventually, he reached the lands of Jang, known for their rich harvests and strong people. Here, fate was quietly guiding his steps. Hungry and exhausted, he sought work and found himself employed as a caretaker of cattle for the household of Chuchuk Sayal, a powerful landowner of the region. Ranjha accepted the humble work, finding solace in the open fields where he could play his flute while watching over the herds. It was in these fields that destiny unveiled its plan. Here, the daughter of Chuchuk was the jewel of Jang. Her beauty was spoken of across the villages, but she was not admired merely for her looks. Here was intelligent, bold, and strong-willed, a woman whose presence commanded attention and respect. She often wandered through her family's lands, her laughter echoing like a song in the wind. One day, while walking near the cattle fields, Heer heard a sound unlike any she had known before. A flute, soft and sweet, carried by the breeze. The melody was filled with longing, sadness, and beauty so pure that it touched her soul. Drawn toward the music, she followed the sound until she came upon Ranjha, sitting under the shade of a tree, his eyes closed as he poured his heart into his flute. For a moment, time stood still. Heer's eyes lingered on the young man before her. His face was calm, yet sorrowful, his music alive with emotions she could not name. Ranjha, sensing her presence, opened his eyes, and when their gazes met, the world seemed to disappear. Neither spoke, but in that silence, an unspoken bond was forged. It was as if they had known each other for lifetimes. Heer felt her heart race, and Ranjha, though unsure why, felt a strange peace he had never known before. That day marked the beginning of a story not just of love, but of destiny, an eternal connection that neither time, family, nor society could break. Section 2. Blossoming Love and Secret Meetings. After their first meeting in the fields, Heer and Ranjha could not forget each other. The memory of that silent connection lingered in their hearts, like a flame that refused to die. Heer found herself drawn to the cattle fields more often, pretending to inspect her father's land, but in truth, it was the music of Ranjha's flute that pulled her there. Whenever Ranjha played, Heer listened in secret, her heart soaring with each note. Slowly, conversations replaced silence. At first, their words were simple, greetings, questions about the cattle, comments about the weather. But soon, they began to share stories of their lives, their joys and their sorrows. Ranjha spoke of his brother's cruelty, of leaving his home behind, and of the solace he found in music. Heer, in turn, revealed her longing for freedom, her frustrations with being treated as a prize rather than a person, and her dreams of love unchained by family expectations. What began as friendship soon grew into love, pure and unstoppable. Under the shade of trees, beside the flowing Chenab, and in the quiet fields of Jang, they met in secret. Their laughter filled the air, their eyes lingered too long, and their hands brushed against each other with tenderness that words could not express. The flute became their companion. Each melody Ranjha played carried hidden messages of longing, of devotion, of promises that no obstacle could break. Heer listened with her heart, understanding every unsaid word. She admired his simplicity, his kindness, and his soulful spirit. Ranjha, in return, was captivated by Heer's courage, intelligence, and unmatched beauty. But love that shines too brightly always attracts shadows. In a society bound by tradition, honor, and rigid family pride, their secret was dangerous. Rumors began to spread. Villagers whispered about Heer's frequent visits to the fields, about the young stranger whose music seemed to enchant her. Some smiled knowingly, while others shook their heads, warning that such love would only bring disaster. The greatest threat, however, came from within Heer's own family. Among them was Kaido, her wicked and jealous uncle, who had always watched Heer with suspicion. He despised Ranjha, seeing him as a lowly servant unworthy of his niece's attention. Kaido began keeping a close eye on Heer, determined to uncover the truth. Despite the looming danger, Heer and Ranjha's love only grew stronger. They began to dream of a future together, imagining a life where they could be free from the chains of family honor and societal judgment. In their secret meetings, they vowed eternal loyalty. "No matter what happens," Heer whispered, her eyes glistening with emotion, "my heart belongs to you, Ranjha." And Ranjha, holding her hand, promised, "Even if the world stands against us, I will never let you go." Their love was like fire, beautiful, warm, but also perilous. They knew the risks, yet neither could resist the pull of destiny. The world around them might have seen their love as forbidden, but in their hearts, it was sacred. Unbeknownst to them, their blossoming love was about to face its greatest test. The same bond that brought them joy would soon become the reason for betrayal, pain, and separation. Section 3. Trials, Betrayal, and Separation. Love, when discovered by the world, often becomes a crime in the eyes of society. Heer and Ranjha's secret meetings could not remain hidden forever. The whispers of villagers grew louder, and Kaido, Heer's cunning uncle, finally caught them together. Enraged, he rushed to Chuchuk, Heer's father, pouring poison into his ears. "Heer has stained our family honor," Kaido declared. "This wandering cattle grazer dares to dream of your daughter. If the world learns of this, our name will be disgraced. Act now, or we will be the subject of endless shame." Chuchuk, a man of pride and authority, was furious when he heard this. Though Heer pleaded her innocence, her words fell on deaf ears. Her parents were blinded by societal honor, unable to see the purity of her love. They confronted Ranjha, insulting him as a beggar who had no right to look at their daughter. His flute was mocked, his love ridiculed. Heer's cries filled the house, but no one listened. Her family saw her not as a woman with a heart, but as a vessel of honor, to be married off for power and alliances. Despite her resistance, she was forced into marriage with Saidakera, a man from a powerful and influential family. The wedding was rushed, filled with rituals that felt like chains tightening around her. On her wedding night, Heer sat in silence, her heart breaking. Though bound to Saida by law, her soul belonged only to Ranjha. Her tears fell silently, her mind replaying the promises she and Ranjha had whispered under the shade of trees. Ranjha, meanwhile, was shattered. Banished from Heer's life, he wandered aimlessly, carrying his flute like a lifeline. His music changed, no longer filled with joy, but with sorrow, longing, and grief. Each note was a cry for Heer, each melody a reminder of love torn apart by cruelty. The pain of separation was unbearable. In his despair, Ranjha turned to spirituality. He renounced worldly attachments, dressing in the robes of a fakir, and began wandering across the land. He walked barefoot through villages and forests, playing his flute not for pleasure, but as a prayer, a call to the divine. His songs carried across the winds, reaching ears that recognized the sorrow of true love. Heer, trapped in her new life, lived like a prisoner. Her body was present inside his home, but her heart was forever with Ranjha. She often prayed at night, asking God to reunite her with the only man she loved. Even her in-laws could sense her distance, her unwillingness to embrace her new life fully. Stories of Heer and Ranjha's love began to spread far and wide, whispered in marketplaces, sung in villages. Their bond, even in separation, became legendary. People spoke of Heer's loyalty and Ranjha's devotion, of a love so strong that distance could not erase it. But destiny was not done with them. The same fate that separated them was quietly preparing a path that would bring them together again, only to test their love in the harshest way possible. Section 4. Tragic Fate and Eternal Love. Years passed, but neither Heer nor Ranjha found peace. Their hearts remained chained to one another, and destiny, though cruel, was not yet finished with their story. Ranjha, now a wandering fakir, traveled from village to village, his flute carrying the sorrow of his heart. His melodies touched souls, making strangers weep without knowing why. One day, by fate's design, he found himself once again in Jang. Word reached Heer that a fakir with a flute was in the village. Her heart trembled with hope. Could it be him? She rushed to see for herself, and when her eyes met Ranjha's once again, the years of separation melted away in a single heartbeat. Heer wept as she embraced him, and Ranjha, too, could not hold back his tears. The pain of their past dissolved in the joy of reunion. The lovers, though scarred by time, were still bound by a love that no force could break. Heer's resistance and sorrow had not gone unnoticed by her family. Over time, even her parents realized that forcing her into a loveless marriage had only brought misery. At last, after much pleading, they agreed to let Heer marry Ranjha. For the first time, happiness seemed within their grasp. The lovers were overjoyed, dreaming of a life together, free from secrecy and shame. But fate can be cruel, and hatred often outlives reason. Kaido, Heer's uncle, could not bear to see her joy. His heart, blackened by envy, plotted against her. He whispered venom into the ears of her family, warning them that allowing Heer to marry Ranjha would still dishonor them. His words failed to convince everyone, but Kaido's malice did not end there. On the day of Heer and Ranjha's union, when the celebrations filled the air, Kaido carried out his final betrayal. In secret, he poisoned Heer's food, determined to end her happiness forever. Heer, unaware of the trap, ate the meal. Soon, her body weakened, and she felt the poison burning through her veins. Ranjha rushed to her side, holding her in his arms as the color drained from her face. Tears streamed down his cheeks as he begged her to stay, but Heer, with her last breaths, whispered words of eternal love. "Ranjha," she said softly, her voice fading, "our souls are one. Even death cannot part us." Unable to imagine a life without her, Ranjha made his choice. With trembling hands, he took the same poisoned food and consumed it, joining Heer in her fate. Side by side, the lovers left the world together, their souls freed from the chains of society, family, and betrayal. Their deaths shook the people of Punjab. Some wept at the cruelty of fate, while others spoke of their love as divine. Songs were composed, verses recited, and their tales spread from village to village. Heer and Ranjha's love became immortal, a reminder that true love, though fragile in the face of worldly power, lives on beyond time and death. Even today, their names are spoken with reverence. Their story teaches that love is not merely of the body, but of the soul, and while human hands may destroy it, destiny ensures it lives forever. Sparkles that complete Section 4, 500 words, and the full 2,000-word Heer Ranjha story. Would you like me to now add the moral, image prompts for each section, hashtags, and a beautiful title for your faceless YouTube video, like I've done in your earlier stories? Here's the moral of the story, Heer Ranjha love story. Lightbulb true love is eternal and spiritual. It can endure separation, betrayal, and even death. But the tragedy of Heer and Ranjha reminds us that love often struggles against pride, envy, and the rigid rules of society. Their story teaches that while human hands may try to destroy love, the bond of two souls who truly belong to each other lives on forever.